Hey everybody, it's Megan coming at you live from Author Like a Boss. And in a minute, I'm gonna be starting about making more time for your writing. But first, I am going to share this video so that y'all can see it in the group as well. So give me a moment here. If you're already on watching live, let me know how your day is going. How's your Thursday? What's it like so far? Mine is very exciting. The power company had to come out, fix the power. Was super exciting. All right, so let me go ahead and share to Author Like a Boss. Okie doke. We're going to get you all covered with how to make more time for your writing. So, okay, excellent. We should be shared now in Author Like a Boss, the Facebook group. If you are watching somewhere besides the Author Like a Boss Facebook group, make sure you head on over and join us there. We do these live trainings twice a week. We have all kinds of fun, cool challenges going on and ways to share. So it's a fun place to be. All right, let's jump right in. I am going to be talking about making more time for your writing today. And, you know, if you're writing fiction, nonfiction, no matter what you're writing, no matter what genre you're writing, if you want to author like a boss, you have to make the time for your writing. It's the difference between finishing your book or burning out and feeling lost. So what we're going to be talking about is getting more time in your routine for writing and building your writing habit. So I'm curious how you guys feel about this. Who feels like they don't have enough time to write? On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is like, oh my gosh, I never have time, and 10 is, oh, I have all the time I need and all the time I want. How do you feel about how much time you have for writing? I'm very curious. We hear from a lot of people who are joining the group are saying that's the biggest challenge. I just don't have time for writing. There isn't enough time. Everything else seems to get priority and writing falls by the wayside. This totally happens to me. I let everything else get in front of my writing. Housework, work, even responding to emails ends up hijacking my writing time. And it just feels like everything else is more urgent than writing. So whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, go ahead and let me know, how much do you struggle with making your writing a priority? Is that something that you really struggle with? Do you wish you had more time for writing? Let me know. So I know that it's something that a lot of writers tell us they struggle with, and I want to help you solve it. So in this final part, today is the third part of all the videos I've been doing about getting more focus, building better writing habits. So in this third installment, we're going to be talking about working writing into your routine, so it feels like just something part of what you normally do. The hidden culprit that's stealing your writing time. Ooh. And the power of a writing habit, what it's like when you actually build a writing habit. So if that sounds good to you, then stick around. We're going to get you sorted. Let's dive in. Okay, so I want to start with this idea of working writing into your routine. So think about the things you get done in the course of a day or in the course of a week. They're the things that are either on your schedule, things like going to work, walking your dog, picking up your kids from school, making dinner, or they're things that are urgent. So maybe making a dentist appointment, taking the car to the mechanic, or returning some work email, or even things like refilling your allergy prescription, right? You're like, oh, this is running low, gotta go refill it. So if you want to add writing to your life, you have to make it either urgent or part of your routine. And you can certainly make it both. You can make your writing urgent by creating deadlines. And if you haven't had a chance to watch part 2 of the Focus and Habits training, make sure to do that. You can grab that on our YouTube channel. But you're going to have a much easier time meeting those deadlines that are making your writing urgent and not having to sacrifice the other important parts of your life if you make writing part of your routine. And I know your routine is already really full and it probably doesn't feel like you have extra time. But think of it this way. If you got a dog, you would work walks into your daily routine, right? Because that's part of being a dog owner. So if you want to be a writer, you have to work writing into your routine. It's part of being a writer. You have to make it happen. So it's really about, kind of having that honest conversation with yourself and saying, am I committed to doing this? Because if so, you've got to make it part of your routine. So once you're committed, then it's time to take a hard look at your daily routine and ask what you're willing to give up to make that time for writing. Because if writing is important to you, you may have to give up something else. You may have to sacrifice something else. And that's going to be personal for each one of us. Maybe it's something like skipping one of your favorite TV shows and using that half hour to write. Maybe it's asking your partner for more help with the kids so you have time to yourself. Maybe it's waking up half an hour earlier and writing in the morning. But the first step is making the time because you really want to do this, right? Let me know in the comments if you're really committed to writing. If this is something you really want to do, let me know in the comments. Give me your, I do, Mike says. Oh, it sounds like my microphone is not doing so good. Okay. Maybe the power is not restored the way I thought it was. All right. So I hear you guys that you want to make it loud and clear. So look at your schedule. What can go so that writing can take its place? And I want to give you a way to make that as smooth as possible. So ask yourself what your best time of day to write is. For me, it's first thing in the morning. I like to write before my critical editing brain is awake. It's still snoozing and I get in and I just am in that, it's almost like a part sleep, part waking mode, that liminal state where you're kind of just in the flow. It's a really easy place for me to get into my writing groove. And I can just dump out a ton of rough draft material with the added advantage of a quiet house. My second favorite time to write is late at night. Again, the house is quiet because I'm the only one up. And I feel like these are also bonus times. That's another advantage, early in the morning and late at night, because, at 7:30 in the morning or 11 at night, I'm not, expecting that I will be working with clients, or it doesn't seem reasonable I should be answering emails, and I would be a jerk if I were doing laundry or vacuuming in that time. So those also feel like kind of bonus times to me, where I go, there isn't something for work or, for housework, for like our daily routine that I would need to be taken care of. So those are my personal choices. So here's what you can ask yourself. What are your preferred writing conditions? Me, I like knowing there's nobody else awake. I don't know. It's not just the quiet. It's the like I own the house kind of feeling. So maybe for you, it's like being far away from other people. But think about, what are your preferred writing conditions? When do you actually have the opportunity to get time to yourself? Because for those of you with kids, that's a big question. Are you an early bird or a night owl? Is one of those times better for you than the other? And would you be more successful getting your writing in before you do your daily work so that you can give it your freshest energy? Or would you be more successful after work so that you've taken care of the day's tasks and those things aren't vying for your attention? So these are some questions you can ask yourself. And kind of while you're thinking through that, I want you to imagine how powerful it would be if, once you knew your best writing times, you could actually co-work with other writers. This is something that we offer in the Author Boss Academy. We set it up so that you can make co-writing times with other people in the academy, and you say, hey, at 6 p.m., we're going to get on the call, and you get on and write with one another. And it's an amazing way to hold yourself accountable and make sure that you actually utilize those times that you decided are your best writing times. If you're interested in hearing more about the Author Boss Academy, we are doing a live webinar tomorrow, and I will put the link to that in the comments, but we'd love for you to just join us and ask any questions that you have if you've been hearing us talk about it. and you'd like to know more, we'd love to tell you more about it. All right, so there is that link. Let's move on to the second component. Now you're thinking about how can I get writing into my routine, and you're starting to imagine what it might look like in your day, or, let's be honest, in your week. It might not be that at the beginning you're going to get writing in every day, but maybe you're going to get it in at a certain point in the week. You're still on your way. All right, so we have to talk about the hidden culprit that's stealing your writing time. Because I just gave you some examples of like, oh, maybe you could get up 30 minutes earlier, or maybe you could not watch a TV show and write for 30 minutes. And you might be saying, 30 minutes? What could I possibly do in 30 minutes? And the answer is a lot, but only if you tackle this hidden culprit that's stealing your writing time. Do you guys know what this hidden culprit is? It's not having a plan for your writing time. So if you sit down to write and you don't have a plan, you can easily eat up that whole 30 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes trying to figure out what to do instead of getting something done. But if you have a clear plan, what you want to do and how you want to do it, you can jump right in and you can take action. So of course you could get more done in more time, but let's just think about 30 minutes for now. Would 30 minutes make a difference to you if you could get in 2.5 to 3.5 hours of writing a week, right? Depending on if you did 5 days or 7 days, that would make a huge difference to me. So I'm curious, do you guys relate to this? Do you find that your writing time gets eaten up by trying to figure out where you are in your process or what's next? Let me know in the comments. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of an impact does it have on your writing time not to know what you're doing? Do you guys get stuck in this, using up all your time just to figure out what you're going to do? This is awful for me. And it's a terrible feeling to have used up my writing time kind of staring idiotically at my computer going, oh, what should I do next? So this is a huge one for me. Okay, Danny says 5. Karen says sometimes 6, sometimes 10. Yikes. I think I'm at a 15 a lot of the time on a scale of 1 to 10. So let's talk about how you create a plan. A great first step in having a plan is an outline, right? Because an outline is a blueprint for your entire book. So it's going to tell you where you're going. Another key component of your plan should be your deadline plus your goals so that you know roughly where you want to be in the process at any given time. But let's dive a little bit deeper. Do you have a plan for getting from your first idea to your final edit? Do you know what those steps are? Because if not, how are you going to take that action on your outline or on your deadlines, right? It will be an unknown. I don't know if there are any South Park fans out there, but there's an episode where the kids are like, oh, we're going to start a business and we're going to get really rich. And they have step 1, collect underwear, step 3, make profit. And it's that step 2 in the middle that they're like, we don't know what that is, right? So it's like step 1, I don't know, random thing, collect underwear. And I know I want it to lead to making a profit, but how does that happen, right? So step 1, I've got my outline. Step 3, I know is my book is finished, but what the heck do I do to make that happen? Having a plan, knowing what you want to write in your story is different from knowing how to write it, how to do those steps. And as you complete more books, you're absolutely going to learn your writing process, right? You'll figure out how you do your best world building, how you do your best outlining, drafting, revising, and editing. But it takes time and experimentation for you to learn and figure out, and maybe you're compiling from a lot of different, YouTube videos you're watching, what process you can use to hit all those deadlines in your story. So that's something that, is taking time out of your writing time currently, because you're not only doing the writing, but you're figuring out how to do the writing, right? You're doing these 2 tasks. And so no wonder it's taking more time. So again, as I said, as you write more books, you'll absolutely shorten this. But if you want a real shortcut, you should come join us in the Author Boss Academy, because we have a writing course there and it actually lays out the steps to take from start to finish, one at a time, so that you always know what to do next. And that means we have video instruction where we walk you through what you're doing, why and how. There are worksheets, templates, checklists, and of course we have live help on our weekly coaching calls. So if you want to save the time and energy of figuring out your own writing process one painstaking piece at a time, and instead you want to jump in with a plan that works and a process that's clear and easy to follow, we'd love to help you with that. So definitely you should come to the webinar tomorrow. You'll also on the webinar not only hear more about the Academy, but you'll get the overview of the steps that work. So you can check it out and kind of get a preview of what it looks like, the process that we use, and see if that feels right for you. You know, get a sense of, could you use that? Would that work for you? So let's jump in now and talk about your writing habit. Ooh. How many of you feel like I've got a writing habit? I work on my writing, I don't even have to think about it. It happens automatically. Yeah, it's good. I don't have a writing habit. I've had a writing habit. At other times, I don't currently have a writing habit. And that's the thing about habit, right? Is that you can create habits and you can also break habits. So let's jump in and talk a little bit about habits. They are hands down the best way to get your writing done, because when you have a habit, you don't have to think about doing the activity, right? We all have habits. So for example, when we get in the car, I bet most of us put on our seatbelts, right? You don't even think about it. Boom, it just happens. As soon as I see that little Instagram icon at the top of my phone, I swipe down, right? I do it without thinking about it. It's a habit. It's actually a terrible habit. Sometimes I'm doing it and I'm telling myself not to, but I have the habit. My finger's doing it. What kind of habits do you have? What things do you do without having to decide to do them, whether they're good, bad, or neutral? I'd love to hear. What are some of your habits? Let me know in the comments. Oh, Karen's saying that during NaNoWriMo you have a writing habit. Yep. Barbara's saying I've had one, but right now not so much. Yeah, Barbara, I feel you. I go in and out. So what habits do y'all have? Not related to writing necessarily, but just generally in life. And again, these might be habits you're proud of. They might be bad habits, you know, biting your nails or whatnot, or they might just be neutral. Like, I don't know, things you do that are neither good nor bad. Walking the dog, good habit. I bet the dog appreciates that habit. And it's nice not to have to think about it, right? You just do it automatically. That's the power of habit. You don't use energy deciding to do something. So let's talk about habits in more detail so we can see how you can use them to write more. A habit has 3 stages. And by the way, I'm getting all of this from a really great book I read called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I really highly recommend it. It is just a really fantastic look at habits and why we have them and how to build new ones. And I'm gonna put the link to that book in the chat if y'all are interested in checking it out. Oh my goodness, Mike, you're hardcore. 4:30 a.m. out for an hour's walk, rain or shine. Love it. Was it hard to build that habit? I'm curious how long it took. All right. So the first stage of any habit is a cue. What triggers the habit? So for putting on your seatbelt, the trigger is getting in the car. For me, for checking Instagram, it's my phone screen lighting up and that little camera icon appearing and saying, Megan, find out what's going on, even though you should be writing. So here's how you can use that to your advantage. You can create a cue for your writing habit. That might mean starting your writing time the same way each time, like taking an action and turning it into your writing switch and associating it with your writing so much that it's like grabbing the leash from by the door as soon as you come home from work and taking the dog on a walk. It's like putting your seatbelt on as soon as you get in the car. I don't know if this is true, but I think it's charming. I've heard that Louisa May Alcott used to have a writing hat that she wore, right? So every time she was done to write, she put on her writing hat. Choose your writing trigger. What's the thing you're going to train yourself means it's the start of my writing time. The second stage of habit is the action. This is going to be your writing. Easy peasy, right? But here's a cool trick. You can actually build a new habit by using an existing cue and just modifying the action. So maybe you have a habit of opening your email first thing in the morning. Your computer wakes up, you automatically open your email. You could use the trigger of your computer waking up and just change the action, jump into your draft and write for 30 minutes. You can also do something called habit bundling, which is really cool. And that's instead of changing the action for a habit cue, you just add an additional action. I wrote my first book because I was doing the Miracle Morning. Is anybody familiar with that program? It's a book and there's a Facebook group and a whole program by Hal Elrod. And it's really, really powerful. It's about creating a habit, and you wake up in the morning and you do things like meditate and exercise, and journal. And I had created this habit. I've been doing it for about a month or so. So after that habit was already built, after it was established, I added on writing time to the end of it. So it was really awesome because, as I mentioned, my best time for writing is in the morning. So I already had this established routine, and the cue was the alarm clock. As soon as the alarm went off, I jumped out of bed. I was half asleep. I put in my exercise DVD, got going on that, did my meditation, did my journaling, and then when I was done, sat down and went straight into writing. And it was so wonderful because I didn't have to think about it. If you're interested in getting like a good morning routine, I definitely recommend The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. It's a commitment, although for some of you, like Mike, who's already waking up at 4:30 in the morning and going on a walk, you've already got it. You could easily tack that on. Okay, so the last stage of a habit, there's the cue, the action. The last stage is the reward we get from it. So I'm not talking about the abstract reward, the reason we're doing it. Right? Because like the ultimate reward for wearing my seatbelt is that I'm safer, or I'm not going to die in a car wreck. But the reward we're actually aware of is probably more tangible. And it might be a feeling of comfort, like everything is right. Don't you guys feel like something's wrong when you can't wear a seatbelt? Like if you're riding in a cab, or for some reason, I don't know, the seatbelt's broken. I'm constantly trying to put it on when it's not there. I'm sometimes trying to put on my seatbelt when I'm sitting in my desk chair. So for me, it's a very tangible reward I get when I have my seatbelt on, because I feel like, okay, everything is right. The reward I get from checking my Instagram feed is that, oh, someone likes my post, right? So it's immediate and it's really tangible. The reward, the question is like, what's the reward we can get from our writing habit that's the same, right? Because just like the seatbelt, yes, there's this reward down the road. I'm going to write my book and that's what I want to do. But you can't feel that. That's not tangible. You can't get an endorphin rush from like picturing ahead into the future. I'm going to have done it. It's a lot harder. Maybe you can if you're good at visualization, but it's a lot harder. You want something that gives you that hit of good hormones. What is it? Dopamine, the feel good hormones. You want that right away from doing the action of writing. So you have to give yourself a reward that you can feel. And this doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as like putting a smiley face on your calendar every day that you write, or making a sticker chart, or checking writing off of your task list. Don't underestimate the really powerful, good feeling of a check mark. So that's enough of a reward to keep most of us coming back for more. And of course, there's always chocolate. You can always give yourself some other kind of reward, but something small that gives you that feeling of, oh yeah, I did it. I am happy for having done it, because that's what builds the habit and keeps you coming back. So is that making sense? Are you guys seeing how if you have a habit that's got a cue, the action of writing, that you can even add on to other actions, and then like a little mini reward that you're building your habit? If so, let me know what kind of reward you think you could use to build your writing habit. What could you bribe yourself with? What would be a good reward? I am all about the check mark, and I go big. I like outline it and then I color it in. What do you think would be a good reward for your writing? What's something that you could use to give yourself that little endorphin rush? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. And now I have a take action step for you. So I was thinking about how it's much more powerful to build a habit if you're doing it with other people. In fact, this is one of the really cool parts of that book, The Power of Habit. When you are building a habit with other people, you are much more likely to maintain that habit. And you're also much more likely to do things beyond what you imagined you could do, because there's this power in other people believing in you and supporting you and encouraging you. So starting in the month of February, in Author Like a Boss, we are going to be holding a Triple Your Writing Productivity Challenge. where we're all going to start at the same time, and we are going to it'll have exercises and activities and ways to track your progress and build that habit so that we will all be working together to triple whatever our current writing productivity is. So you'll be like competing against yourself. Whatever your current writing productivity is, you're going to triple it. And that is starting up in February. So the way you can find out about that is to make sure you are signed up for our newsletter. If you're already on our newsletter, awesome. You will hear about it. If you're not already on our newsletter, I'm going to put the link in the comments and you will be able to join us there and hear about the February Triple Your Productivity. Oh, cool. Some of you put in some rewards. Mike said maybe hot chocolate instead of coffee. Get the caffeine plus the endorphin rush. Ooh, I love that as a writing reward. Michelle says going out in the garden or nature to get a sense reward. Oh, I really love that idea. So to give your brain some peace or stimulation, or maybe a combination of the two. Very cool. Yeah, think about what your writing reward is. So make sure you take action by getting on our newsletter so that you can join us for that Triple Your Productivity challenge starting in February. And of course, the other action I want to invite you to take is to join us for tomorrow's live webinar. I will again post the link to that. If you haven't been to a webinar with me and Ella before, you should know that it's goofy and fun because that's what we know leads to productivity. We are going, our goal is always to inspire you. And we want you to walk away being able to come at your writing with more productivity and feeling better about it. And in fact, if you even just join us for tomorrow's webinar, you can walk away from it with our 4-month Write, Market, and Publish guide, which is a calendar that we put together for the Write, Market, and Publish program that we have. But it breaks down for you what you can do week by week in your writing and your marketing so that you're always moving forward, and also so that you're following those steps of what should I be doing in my writing time? What should I be doing in my marketing time, right? They're all laid out for you. So join us tomorrow for the webinar, get that calendar, and you'll also be hearing more about the Academy. And the Author Boss Academy is $39 through the end of the month. The price is going up, but if you sign up at that $39 a month price, you get that for as long as you're a member. So the price is not going up on you if you get in. And what is in the Academy is self-paced courses for writing, the ones that tell you exactly what to do at each stage of writing your novel, so you always know what the next step is and you make the best use of your, let's face it, limited writing time, right? We all wish there were just more time, like time spilling out of like a drain pipe somewhere and we could go collect it, but there isn't. So you need to make the most of the time you do have, and that's by knowing exactly what to do. And guess what? We have the same thing for marketing and publishing. So if you feel like you're spending way too much time marketing your book, those step-by-step instructions, worksheets, and templates are a lifesaver. You're going to free up more time, and of course your time will be more efficient. So you can get done with this book and start selling it and start writing the next one. The other thing you get access to in the Academy is that Write, Market, and Publish in 4 months program I was talking about, where we actually show you how to integrate your writing and your marketing together using that week-by-week calendar. In the Academy, we host live weekly coaching calls about writing and marketing. You can get personalized feedback on your writing and marketing strategy. And again, through January 31st, the Academy is $39 a month. We're still in our first 6 months. We're still really wanting to give a great deal to those of you who are our early adopters. So if you want to get in on that, we'd love to have you. And starting February 1st, the price will be going up. And definitely join us for tomorrow's How to Author Like a Boss webinar. We'll be giving you that big picture of writing and marketing strategies that we teach. And you can start to see the steps for yourself and also grab your copy of the 4-month writing and marketing plan, just for showing up. Whether or not the Academy is right for you. We want to give you that calendar. Okie doke. Next week, Ella is closing out the month of training she's been doing on newsletters with some fun examples of great author newsletters. If you're like me and you love learning from examples, you will definitely want to tune in for that. And next week, I'll be kicking off the February writing topic, which is writing an inspired central conflict. If you want to get notified about when we're going live, we have a new alert system that you can get notified by Facebook Messenger, and I'll put the link to sign up to that in the comments so that if you are doing other stuff in your day, you can remember to come check out our lives. Alrighty. Thanks so much for joining me, whether you're live or you're watching this on a replay. I really, really hope you'll go back, if you haven't already, and watch part 1 and part 2 of the Writing in Focus videos. You can find those on our Author Like a Boss YouTube channel, and start creating the time that you need in your routine for writing. And so that when you join us for that February challenge and triple your writing, you'll be really focused and know exactly what you can do to get more out of your writing time and get more writing time in so you can write more books. So we can read more books. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.